Hello, this is Teresa DeWitt Pierce. This is my first video for Rinea on the design team. I'm going to be showing you how to create this cute cupcake decor project. Now I have the items on my desk that I'll be using to create the topper for the cupcake, and I'll show you the liner later. So I'm using 1-inch die cut circles, a glue dot, a coffee stir stick, and the Rinea Princess Variety Pack foiled papers. I have a 3-inch die cut at the top and an 8-inch score tape that I'll be using. So here's an example of one that I did a practice test run on before I started this project. So these are not the colors I'm going to be using today, but you will see me using them. Now, starting with the blush paper, I'm going to cut off 3 inches from one end, and this is a 6x12 piece. And I've trimmed down that 9-inch piece into 6 1-inch sections. And now I'm going to score each of these 1-inch pieces at every 1/4 inch mark. I won't show you the entire scoring process, but I'll just kind of get started on that. And once it's finished, then you have a strip that looks like this. And the first thing I do is fold back that first little tab, and I'm going to add the 1/8 inch tape to that end and leave the lining on. So when I fold the entire piece in an accordion fold style, that way I'll have that tape right at the end. I can just remove the liner and put that all together. So this is the way that I put it together, is just by pulling the liner away and then using my fingers to attach the two ends together. And I have the tweezers there just in case I need to reinforce that attachment, because it's a little bit difficult to do it with just your fingers. So I looked at it and it didn't seem to need any reinforcement. The next thing I need to do is add a glue dot to my 1-inch die cut or punch circle out of white cardstock. And this will be hidden, so you won't even see this in the finished project at all. Now, once I have that glue dot on there securely, I remove the liner, and then I'm going to take my little accordion folded piece and I'm going to fan it out as you see me doing, and I'll do my best to hold it as tightly in that shape as I can before pressing it down onto the glue dot on that piece of paper. And while it is a little bit fiddly, it isn't too difficult to get it pressed down onto the glue dot. And once you do, if you find you need to kind of reinforce some of the folds, you can use your fingers or tweezers like I did to make sure that they stay folded and look nice and creased like they did before pressing it down against the glue dot. And now I have the silver Starstruck foiled paper out. I'm going to use this 3-inch die to cut as many circles as I can out of it. Since my die is 3 inches, I'll only be able to get 6 out of it. So if you have a slightly smaller stitch die, you could get as many as 8. And there are the die cut circles that are going to form the background for my decorations. And next I'll cut 6 1-inch circles out of this piece of lavender foiled paper. Then I'm going to trim down that end down to 3 inches, and then I'll trim that into 6 different 1-inch strips, and I will be using these to wrap the coffee stir sticks. And it leaves 2 inches at the bottom at this exact length and width, and I'll apply some double-sided ATG style tape so that I can wrap that around the stick. I don't like to use liquid adhesive because it requires a lot more time to dry, and this is just a easier and faster way to get this done. So that way you're not waiting a long time for it to get dry. So I'm pressing the stir stick. I'm going to put it towards the edge of the paper and make sure it's flush at the top end, and then I press it down against the adhesive that's already on there, and I slowly start rolling it in and keep that I roll it as tightly as I possibly can, and then by the time I get to the end I will have a nicely wrapped stick. There will still be the 2 inches at the bottom so that it can go into the cupcake. And to add a little bit further decoration to this, I'm going to be adding some little strips of the silver starstruck foil around each of these little stems. Now I'm pulling back the edge of that paper that I'd already glued on, and I'm going to use that to tuck the end of this little silver strip under it and then press it down to hold it in place right there. So you can see what I'm doing here is I just kind of have to hold it there and then press the foiled paper back over it, and then I'll grab the end. In my other hand, I'll grab the piece of foil, and then I'll just simply twist the coffee stir stick around until I get to the other end of it, and then I'll just use some more of the double-sided tape. I'll apply it to the other end and just adhere it at the top so that it's secure. And so I'm going to start assembling all the pieces, starting with the silver 3-inch die cut circle. I'm putting some double-sided adhesive tape and attaching the blush accordion shaped circle, and then on top of that I'll add the lavender 1-inch die cut circle and glue that on as well. And I'm going to use double-sided adhesive tape for that. And then after that is done, all I'll need to do is attach the coffee stick, and I'm going to tuck that underneath one of the accordion folds. This is the one time that I will be using liquid adhesive to attach that piece. And at this point, there are a lot of different ways you could embellish your cupcake decor items. And in this case, I'm going to use some pre-made stickers. They were just adorable little unicorns and just couldn't pass them up. You could do die cuts if you wanted to put a letter or a number or something else on them in place of this. And of course, there are so many different foiled paper colors that you could customize this for the occasion, whether it's for man, woman, or child. Baby shower, July 4th celebration, there are all sorts of possibilities that you could use this technique for, and just change it up by changing the embellishments that you add to the end product. And here's a quick close-up look of a couple of the completed toppers for the cupcakes. And I'm using the turquoise starstruck foiled paper to create the cupcake liners, and I did use an electronic die cutting machine, my Cricut as a matter of fact, to cut these out of 2 pieces of this foil. So you can see on the screen I'm setting up my file, and I will include a link to this below if you're interested in accessing this exact thing yourself. There are probably lots of other options on the internet for manually tracing and cutting something like this out, but like I said, I wanted to take advantage of what I already have. And now that I've die cut this, and by the way, I did use the paper setting on the Cricut Explorer Air 2 if that happens to be the machine that you have, so that it would be less likely to rip the paper. And while it may look like it's ripped, when I actually remove it, it's more a matter of folding the foil tips back so that they're nice and straight again. And the nice thing about this design is it already has a tab at the end and a slot on the other so that you can easily fold, just pull this around, tuck the tab in, and in my case I wanted to make sure it stayed secure, and I added some tape on the inside of it so that it would not come apart once I started putting cupcakes into the liner. And I'm going to take advantage of all these scrap pieces I have left by using these Martha Stewart scissors to cut them into confetti-sized pieces, which could be used for table decor or whatever you want to do with them. So they're all my multicolored confetti pieces from the leftovers. I really enjoyed creating this first project, and I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. I will be putting up a couple of links here at the end so that you can watch some other videos on the channel, and if you haven't subscribed, I hope you'll take a moment to do so. Thanks so much for watching.